Hey folks, it's Viejo here. The video you're about to see here is one that I'm reposting from my previous channel that had been deleted. So if you've seen this video, feel free to bypass it and move along to something else. Won't hurt my feelings at all. But I have had some requests to repost some of the videos from that other channel that are not likely to get channel strikes against them. So we're going to do that. And at the beginning of each of those videos, you'll see this very same prologue, so you'll know. All right, happy shooting, casting, and reloading to everybody. Catch you later. Okay, folks, today we're going to talk about bullet sizing on the new Lee APP press over here, okay? Specifically, we're going to be comparing the Lee bullet sizing kit to the NOE bullet molds new kit. All right, we're going to take a look at how they compare on the APP. Both of these new die sets are designed to work specifically on that press. You may remember our old systems. Here's the old Lee press. These are still made. You can still buy these. And it came with the bullet catching container up here. Okay, very handy. And here's the NOE system, and it also was designed to use that Lee bullet catcher. Both of these older sets can be adapted to work on either the standard 7/8 by 14-inch die thread type press or the Lee breech-lock press. Either of these will work with the Lee breech-lock press. Okay, so let's take a look at the Lee kit first. So here we are with the Lee bullet sizing kit. I see these for sale at Midway, and they're running around $12 for this bullet sizing kit. And you get these three pieces. You get what looks kind of like a standard Lee breech-lock bushing. There's a regular Lee breech-lock bushing, but it's not quite the same. This guy has a little shoulder in there, and that's to retain our sizing bushing. So the Lee bushing style sizing bushings will not work with just a regular old run-of-the-mill Lee breech-lock bushing. You've got to use the one from the kit. And you got this piece which Lee calls the bottle adapter, and that serves a couple of purposes. One is that it holds our sizing bushing in place inside here, and the other end of it is going to screw on to the new bullet catch. So with the new Lee set, again, you get these three pieces. You do not get a sizing bushing. You have to buy that separately. And they're running around $10, including the push rod. Okay, and here's how they would go together. We take our bushing, and let's bring up this here a little bit closer, and you can see that there's a roll mark down there on the bottom end of this. That goes into our bushing first, and it's important that you do it that way. It's not going to work if you don't. So that goes in, and notice how far down that extends. You need to be able to see that roll mark down here. Then our bottle adapter goes in, the long end first, and it just threads down in there. There's an O-ring stop, and we'll snug that up. Listen to this. That's not in there tight enough. We need to snug this up enough so that there's no rattle. All right, there it is. So that's that. You get that tight enough so that it's not going to rattle around in there. The little lock ring that Lee gives you goes inside the bottle cap there. I've got another one in there now. All right, but that's what that's for. So we would take our die now and just screw that in to the top of the bullet bottle. You don't have to use this on your press, you can just simply let the bullets fall right through the bottom into some other kind of catch tray that you set up down there, okay? But this actually works pretty well. It just doesn't hold an awful lot of bullets, but it'll work fine, okay? So now let's take a look at the NOE. So with the NOE kit, we get their adapter. That runs about $17 from the NOE's website, plus shipping and any appropriate taxes. You get a little set screw, a little Allen key here to tighten up the set screw that holds our bushing in place, and it actually even comes in this nice Lee die container. You can't use Lee bushings in here. You have to use NOEs, and the NOE bushings are running about $9.75 for the bushing alone. They do not include the push rod. You have to buy that separately, and they're $7.50. If you've already got push rods from an older Lee system, they'll work just fine, okay? Given that they're the appropriate size for the bushing you're using. Okay, obviously you can't use a Lee 45 caliber punch in a 223 sizing die. Not going to work, okay? So what we do with the NOE system then is, let's get this up here close where you can see. Look right there, you see that little set screw? Okay, that's the end where our bushing is going to go, and it simply drops in there like that, and then we'll come in with our Allen key and just snug that up. And it doesn't have to, you don't need to put a lot of force on there, guys. All that does is keep that bushing from dropping out due to gravity. It's not going to take any pressure or anything. It just holds that in place, keeps it from falling out, because this is going to go up into the press from the bottom up, all right? So there we see the system for NOE. So another distinct advantage of the NOE system that we need to talk about is that NOE offers a lot wider variety of diameters for their bushings than Lee does. We know that you can have Lee make you a custom sized bushing. They charge you 20 bucks for it, but NOE's got them already ready made. And if you buy the NOE bushing plus the push rod and the caliber size you need, you're only talking about a little over $17. So that ends up being less expensive than the Lee system. So if you are an APP press owner and you want something other than standard size dies and you need several of them, this NOE adapter might be a good way for you to consider going. Both of these are designed to use Lee's new catch bottle. So our NOE die system just twists right into that cap, just like the Lee did, okay? And the collecting bottle goes on, and we're good to go to the press. So let's go do that. Let's run a few bullets through and see how they work. All right, so we got a few bullets set up in here. These are for the 3855, and these have already been lubed and sized on the lubricizer, so they're just in there for demonstration purposes. So what we're going to do, we've got the Lee die set up first, and we'll come up in here, install that into the bottom. Then we got to put in our push rod, and that goes into the other Lee die that comes with the press. It just snaps in, and that goes into our top receptacle up here like that. You got to like these breech-lock systems. All right, so let's go pick up the bullet, move it over, drops into the bushing, pick up another bullet, drops into the bushing. Works just fine like that. Okay, we got a couple more bullets stuck in there, and we'll go ahead and set up the NOE system. Here's the NOE's push rod. I'll go ahead and install that. That goes into our top receiver up there. And then I already have the NOE's die body with the sizing bushing installed onto our catch bottle, and that comes up into the bottom receiver like so. Go back, pick up a bullet, it drops right into the bushing, down it goes, drops into the bushing, just as easily as the Lee system did. All right, I want to talk about this little piece, and this comes from NOE. It's included in part of their big die body set. And what this is, you can kind of see the way that that's cut there. This fits into a shell holder, and it is designed to accept a top punch if you want to run your bullets through the sizer base first. So that happened to be a Lyman top punch, and you could use an RCBS or a Seiko. They all have the same shaft diameter and they'll fit. It just locks in there with a set screw. So let's go see how that would work. And this would go into our shell holder. This adapter, this nose punch adapter, will work with either the Lee system or the NOE system. It doesn't care what sizing bushing is down there at the bottom. So we would simply set that up into our top receiver, and then if we have a bullet that we want to push through nose first, then our nose punch, and again you have to have the right nose punch or it's not going to be successful, is going to go down through there like this. I had some difficulties getting this particular bullet to feed here through the automatic system, and it may be better to just feed these through singly. What happened was that we have the NOE system right here. Let me take this off. I want to show you guys something. So here we have the two systems, Lee over here on your left and the NOE on your right. You kind of look down the barrels of those there. Can you see that this Lee over here, that the mouth of that's chamfered a little bit more, and the mouth of this funnel part up here is wider than that of the NOE. So what does that matter? Well, let me go put this NOE bushing back in there and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so what I'm talking about is that when we would slide this bullet over, it would come over here and not want to seat correctly in the funnel of the NOE bushing because it's a little bit narrow. It would get cockeyed like this, and then as my punch comes down, it doesn't contact those of that bullet correctly. So that was a problem. I didn't have that problem with the Lee system because our Lee bushing, get out of your way, that Lee bushing has a wider funnel and the bullet would drop down in there better. All right, compared to the NOE system, where when we go base first, yeah, it fits, but it doesn't want to go all the way down in there far enough, as far as it does, or as easily as it does with the Lee bushing. So that was an issue using that top punch system with NOE. It'll still work, particularly if you're willing to feed, hand feed these in one at a time. But you may run into some difficulties getting this to feed properly and getting that bullet to seat correctly into the funnel of this NOE die. You can try it. Okay, so let's recap. Over here we have the Lee breech-lock bullet sizing system. The way you see it set up, I have a sizing bushing installed with the push rod and the sizing kit. All together runs about $22. Again, that was from today's price over at Midway. It's more than that on the Lee's website. Over here we have the NOE setup and the Lee APP adapter, as they call it, plus the bushing, plus the RAM. You're looking at just a little over $34 from NOE's website, which is the only place I know that sells it. There may be other sources. Both of them are set up to use Lee's new catch bottle, which is not included with either of these sets. So if you need the catch bottle, it does come with the APP set. So if you buy that deluxe APP press, you have the bottle already. But if not, that's going to be another $5 to $10, again, depending on where you get that. So you don't have to use this. You can simply put a collection container underneath the APP, whatever you want to put down there to catch your brass or in this case, your bullets. As far as function goes, I didn't see a whole lot of difference. The only difference I saw was when we went to use our top punch adapter from NOE with the NOE bushing when we're going through base first. And that was because the funnel end here of our NOE bushing is a little narrower and doesn't have quite as much bevel as the Lee die did. But for nose first, that was not an issue. That functions just fine. So with the Lee system, once you have the initial setup, your additional calibers are going to run you about $10, including the punch. With the NOE system, another caliber with the bushing plus the separately priced punch are going to be about $17. So a little less expensive to go with the Lee. Both of them can work with a Lee breech-lock single-stage press, or any Lee breech-lock press. You don't have to use these with the APP. Okay, folks, I'll put links for the NOE parts down there at the bottom, and as well as a link to the Midway system, so you can go check out current pricing. All right.